Early in my professional career, I had the privilege of working with one of the most well-respected business leaders in his industry. This was a gentleman who had 3 decades of amazing resume, great successes. He was truly one of the brightest individuals in the business. Some would consider him to be an icon. He made the best decisions. He was absolutely the most well-versed in the industry and all the nuances of the business. And when he spoke, people listened. He had tremendous leadership clout. And then over time, I started to notice some significant changes in how he was operating. I started to notice that it was very normal for him to put in very long nights. I noticed that not only was he putting in long nights, but the individuals that were on his team, they were following what he was modeling. So now long nights were becoming the norm. And then after long nights, as if it weren't long enough to just put in a good hard day's work, they would then often go and they would have a nightcap. And he and a few of his colleagues, they would go and they'd have an after-hour drink when they were already well into the evening. And then I noticed that the early morning start times got pushed back. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 10:30. And then it was impossible to count on him being present or in a meeting prior to 10:30, and that became the norm. Later noticed that we started to see a new lady in his life. And this was a lady that started showing up to corporate functions with more regularity than did his bride. And then the stories followed. The stories followed from the teenage kids of disrespect, dysfunction, and some significant breaks in a very critical and important relationship. Now, that is a dramatic, real story, and I've seen tons of them that are like that, some more significant and worse, and others that are varying degrees less severe. But I want to start with a story like that because what I want you to understand is that as this individual started to experience challenges between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., those challenges, they didn't just stop at 6 a.m. They followed him right into the business. And his leadership effectiveness started to take hits. And here's what I want you to note. There are two things that are going to have the most impact on your leadership success or your leadership legacy. And those 2 things are going to be the decisions you make and the influence you have. Did you catch that? Your leadership success will be determined by the decisions you make and the influence you have. Everything will fall into one of those 2 buckets. So this individual who was amazing at building strategy for his industry, amazing at executing those strategies, amazing at getting results. Over time, he lost his platform. And he lost his platform because at some point, his decision-making ability started to erode. At some point, compromise entered in. And it's because he didn't have a strategy for his life. And here's what I believe more than anything as a guy who has now been doing this for the last couple of decades. If you want to have sustainable influence and impact as a business leader, you absolutely have to have a strategy for how you're going to manage yourself and how you're going to manage life. I don't understand it. So many business leaders, they put so much energy into learning and creating and sacrificing for these business strategies that are not guaranteed, but if executed well, they will lead the organization forward. These strategies can have tremendous impact on their businesses. And most of the best leaders are fantastic executors with the right strategies, the right thinking, and the right influence to mobilize the troops to execute on those decisions. Yet there's no strategy for life. And if there's no strategy for life, then life gets the afterthought. You might want to note this. Self-leadership always precedes team leadership. Self-leadership always precedes team leadership. Who we are, how I lead myself, it impacts the influence that I have in the lives of those that I get to work with. So back to the very traumatic, sad story. The individual not only does he lose everything in life, but then he loses everything professionally because you can't trust him. You can't trust the decisions. The decisions start to erode. The influence is gone. Now, the beautiful thing is, in self-leadership, preceding team leadership, as a coaching company, we've worked with countless leaders to where they've become life planning leaders. They've built a strategy to enable them to be mindful, to be proactive and intentional in the areas of their lives that matter most. And as a result of that, they are leading with more success. There are two specific benefits that each and every one of you can take by executing life planning as a business strategy. The first is for what it will do for you as a leader. When you become a life planning leader, what you do is you take the time to figure out what areas of your life are truly most important to you. Then you do a little bit of vision casting for each and every one of those areas. Your health, your marriage, your overall family unit, every single one of your kids, ministry, faith, charity, special interests, hobbies. You think about all the areas of life that make you who you are, and then you go ahead and you get a little creative, and you write down what it is you would like to see for yourself some 10, 20, 30 years down the road. And you create something that's compelling and it's got pull power. When you do that, and then you start to identify the actions that you'll take to close the gap, and you start to deploy those actions, whether it's regular family dinner time, whether it's date lunches with your husband or your wife, whether it's dating your kids monthly, whether it's going to the gym at a certain time so many days a week. It's a decision about what you'll eat, how much sleep you'll get, what you won't eat, where you will be and where you won't be. That's what the strategy tells you when you build a life plan. When you do that, what it does for you as a leader is it increases your ability to be present. It increases your ability to make better decisions. And earlier I said your leadership effectiveness will be determined by two things: the decisions you make and the influence you have. So if you're leading well at home, all right, and you're investing in the areas of your life that are truly most important, you're starting to get momentum in those areas, you're showing up to work with confidence, with courage, because you're not neglecting other areas, and you're not carrying around that heavy weight of guilt or of shame or of regret or of angst, because you know while you're sitting here, you know you're neglecting all these other areas, and it's only a matter of time before a yellow light on the dashboard turns red. So what it does for you as a leader is increases your ability to be present. It increases your ability to connect. It increases your ability to make better decisions. So better decisions and more influence is what it does for you. It enables you to give your best in all the areas of your business and your life. And that's what we all want. We want maximum impact as leaders. The second thing it does for busy, successful leaders like you is it enables your teammates to follow you with a lot more ease. As leaders, we're on the platform, all right? Our teammates are watching us. And they're watching us, and they're looking for integrity. And what they're doing is they're looking 5, 10 years down the road. They're seeing where you're at, and they're making decisions as to whether or not they want to commit, invest, and sacrifice to be with your firm on your team in the years ahead. And you're showing them a glimpse of future reality. So if your life outside of work is chaos, consciously or subconsciously, they're making a decision right then and there, and they're saying, why would I want to keep following you? Why would I want to stay here? I don't want my life to look like this. I don't care how successful I can be in business. I don't want to turn out like that. On the flip side, if you're leading really well, you're taking care of your health, you're enjoying fun and intimacy and romance and connectedness in all the areas of your life, you have a well-diversified kind of portfolio of life. You're not just one-dimensional in work, but you have other interests, and you're continuing to grow in your curiosity and how you're contributing and making a difference in the other areas of your life. You're actually presenting a more interesting and a more exciting future state for everybody on your team. So you make it easier for them to engage with you, and your influence increases. Life planning is, I think, one of the greatest business strategies business leaders can deploy. And that's why 100% of our clients, I don't care if they're leading large Fortune 50 globals or whether they're entrepreneurial and they've got a team of one themselves, in a period of time with us, every single one of them will complete a life plan. And it's because we're convicted by it. We know that over the long haul, we can help you to better lead in business if we help you to not only better lead in business, but to help you to better lead in life. So let's talk a little bit about how you take action on this strategy. It's not a difficult strategy to build, but it's challenging to live. If you want to improve how you lead yourself, the first thing that you do is you take the tool that we've created, we give it to you, and you take a day, invest a day to build your strategy. And today, we're here in the Northwest. In the summertime, it's gorgeous. This is the ideal season for us Northwest folks to build a life plan. Because I would tell you, go somewhere where you can unplug. Go somewhere where it's different and it's really a nice, calm, reflective space. I'd say go to the coast, go to the gorge, go to the river. Be outdoors right now and take a day, disconnect from the iPhone, don't bring any other work, and just follow the process. And I would tell you that if you want to deploy this strategy, commit to doing it within the next 2 weeks. Because after that, the law of diminishing intent will kick in, and chances of you following through go way down. So you've got the tool, you pick the date's within the next 2 weeks, and you go. No interruptions, wrestle through the tool. The process works. At the end of the day, you will have a life plan. And that life plan, it will be yours. You will have done everything from identified all the areas of your life that are most important. You'll cast a vision. You'll identify your purpose for being involved and wanting to grow each of those accounts. You'll identify 3 to 5 actions that will enable you to increase net worth, that are schedulable, that will enable you to make a greater difference in all of those areas so that you're not just growing in your professional or your financial accounts, but growing in all of the other accounts. You'll leave with that, and it'll be a wonderful thing. Then comes the difficult work of discipline. And this is where many people fall down. So in the next 2 weeks, you've written your life plan, you've got it. Maybe some of you have reviewed it over the next 2 weeks and you've brought some fresh life to it. Then for the next 90 days, first thing in the morning, you're going to read it word for word every single morning for 90 days. Before you hit email, before you hit Facebook status, before you do anything, you're going to review your life plan before you engage with the reactiveness of work. You're going to focus on the strategy of being a life planner. You read through it because the more your mind focuses on those areas of your life that are most important, the easier it is for you to follow through with the disciplines or the actions that will enable you to grow in your net worth in all of those accounts. So you'll have absolute awareness by reviewing it of what's most important and then the actions that you need to take on Monday, on Tuesday, on Friday, on Saturday for 90 days. And then once you hit the 90-day mark, you graduate to the next level of discipline, which is weekly. And you review it weekly for the remainder of your life because you're a life planning leader and you don't ever want to lose sight of the strategy. Then once you've done that, if you want to get the ultimate results for your business, you share it with all the people you care about. You share with them how you have put together this strategy to be more proactive and intentional with your life. And you share it with your direct reports. You share it with your peers. You lead them right back to that tool. You tell them how you've done it, and you tell them about the results that you're getting. We've got large corporate clients that will actually give their teammates a paid day off to go complete their life plan. And if that's within your power, you do the same. Give the gift away. In today's times, which are filled with extreme talent wars, retention is so important. And if we can give this gift to our teammates and help them to live more intentionally, more proactively, so that they can lead better lives, not only will they be better leaders, but they're going to be more connected to your organization, which impacts your culture, which impacts retention, which impacts the results you get. Hence, my belief that it is a business strategy. So, you've got your marching orders. You download the tool, you commit to a day, you go somewhere uninterrupted, you give it your all, you review it every single morning for 90, then weekly for the remainder of your life, and you share it with everybody you care about. If you do, I am absolutely confident that the results you get in how you lead your business will improve. But more importantly than that, you'll see improved results in your life. Thank you.